This is iOS tutorial 5, and today I'm going to be going over some basics with using the debugger. Okay, so the key things I want to go over are breakpoints, NSLog, and how to view the state of variables in your program. Okay, so first we're going to use the same code that we did for project 5, so it's this again, okay? And in here, I've just added a little bit of code in prepare for seg. What this does is declares an integer, x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2, z is equal to 3, adds them all together, and then here it's going to print them out to our log. All right, to demonstrate how breakpoints work, I'm going to click over here. And whenever you see this filled in, this little blue tab, that means there is a breakpoint at that location in your code. Now, when I run this, watch what happens. All right, nothing at first because that code is in prepare for seg and it doesn't activate until we seg between our two views. So when I click the button here, you'll notice it stopped and it highlights this line. This is the line it stopped at right here. Okay, and then if I hit F7, I can go through the line to the next line, and it's actually in the editor. You can do it. I think it's debug. It's F7 for me, but for you it might be something different. It's the same as step into. All right, and then if I hit this means continue. So that resumes your execution of your program. You can also do something like put a breakpoint. Put a breakpoint here. Put a breakpoint here. Okay. Now it stops at the first one, and if I just want to jump right to the second breakpoint, I can go continue, and I'll just go continue until it gets to another breakpoint, or it'll just execute the remainder of your code. Okay? And the other thing to note about this is if you see down, I'll make this window a little bigger. Don't need that. If you look here, this has a description of basically the variables in your scope. So you got, these are the variables, and here NSString doesn't have anything yet, but z is equal to 3. See, that basically tells you what is in your variables at the time when the breakpoint is stopped. So if I hit F7 here, I continue, you'll see what's in string changes. So it stopped on this line. Then once I hit F7, the line executes, and now str is equal to the answer is. Okay, so that is two of the basic how to view what's inside your variables and how to put breakpoints. That's two of the very core fundamentals of debugging. The other thing you'll see a lot is this line here. It's called NSLog, and what it does is it gives you a convenient way of printing things. And when it prints, it's going to print over here. So if I hit F7, you'll notice here it says the answer is 6. Now, how NSLog works is it basically in the normal, I can actually also execute it like this, all right? I can just do NSLog at quote unquote anything right. And then this will print, if I run this again, it'll print the word anything, all capital letters, into my log when it runs. So I click this, anything is in there, right? But oftentimes you'll want to kind of not just print a hard-coded string like this is, but I want to print the contents of some variables. So here I'm going to print string and answer. And basically you put some things in here and it makes a substitution. When you put %at into your NSLog, that means for this one I want to substitute an object. And in this case, NSString is an object. So, and then %I is an integer. So answer is an integer. So it'll print out the answer is ... then a space, and then %I will substitute 6. So when we run that, you can see the spaces there and 6. So that's basically a format string, and it's pretty common in iOS when you're working with strings in general. And the NSLog is one of those cases where there's a lot of use for that kind of thing. And at any rate, I think that's most of what I wanted to cover. So that's going to wrap things up for this video. This was the debugger basics.